The PS Vita is probably one of, if not the most underappreciated handheld ever created. Due to extremely poor marketing on Sony's part and willful ignorance when it comes to most gamers, the PS Vita has found a dedicated following around the world. So, despite what the bandwagoners say, here are 5 reasons to own a PS Vita in 2017 and beyond. Number 5. Affordability. For the most part. Many people will say the PS Vita is a dying platform, and as a result, it's not worth buying the system in 2017. I've never really understood that argument, as plenty of people, myself included, collect retro video game systems and games. If anything, because retail space in the US is dying off, there isn't a better time to get into PlayStation Vita playing and collecting. Many US retailers are clearancing out great PS Vita titles and the proprietary memory cards at incredible prices. I have seen people purchase the 32GB memory cards for PlayStation Vita for $15 to $30 on some of the PlayStation Vita collector pages that I follow on Facebook. And if you know anything about those memory cards, that's one hell of a deal. I myself have scored a few awesome PS Vita titles for less than $10 at clearance at Walmart and Target, and I'm always keeping an eye out for more clearance PS Vita titles, as I know places like Walmart, Target, Toys R Us, and others are liquidating all their PS Vita games, accessories, and systems for a fraction of their original MSRP. PS Vita systems are pretty hard to find in most retailers outside of Japan. However, many of the systems, most Japanese units, are available in a variety of colors on Amazon.com for prices ranging between $169.99 and $199.99 US. Perhaps the least affordable aspect of the PS Vita family of systems and devices is the memory cards that I mentioned before. However, even they have fallen drastically in their retail prices in recent times, and as of the making of this video, the 16GB cards I've seen retail between $34.99 and $43.99. And that is the memory card I would recommend for all newcomers to the PlayStation Vita platform. Number 4 is Remote Play. I can hear haters from a mile away as I say this, but the PlayStation Vita's integration with the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 4 Pro through Remote Play is another great reason to own a PS Vita. If you're like me, and you're out and about a lot, then the Remote Play app on PlayStation Vita is a massive selling point. Again, at least for people like me. Now, is it perfect for every single PlayStation 4 title? No, but it seems to work well, at least in my experience, and while results may vary from person to person, I've found it to be another great reason for me to take my PS Vita with me whenever I'm traveling or going out. So long as you have 2 internet connections with decent to fast upload and download speeds, the Remote Play app should work well with your PS Vita system. Remote Play has one quirk. The allocation of the controls is something that requires some getting used to. What I mean by this is that the PS Vita lacks L2, R2, L3, and R3 buttons, but the missing L and R buttons have been relocated to the back touchpad and in some cases the front bottom corners of the touch screen. Despite this, everything seems to work well. Learning curve aside, I personally think that having the ability to play my PS4 games anywhere there's a Wi-Fi connection is a massive convenience and a great reason to own a PS Vita. Number 3 is PlayStation Plus. This one is probably a given if you already own a PlayStation 4 or a PlayStation 3, but in case you don't know, with the PlayStation Plus subscription, users get access to a whole slew of benefits including 10GB of cloud storage for online game saves, online multiplayer access for PlayStation 4, PlayStation Store discounts across all platforms, 2 PlayStation 4 games per month, 2 PlayStation 3 games per month, and 2 PS Vita games per month. This all equivalates to about 24 titles per year, 72 titles across all 3 platforms. Now again, I can already hear an inevitable group of whiners complaining about how PS Plus on the PS Vita has been giving away nothing but indie titles in recent years. But hear me out. Initially when this service launched, and up until recently, I got games like Uncharted Golden Abyss, Wipeout 2048, Gravity Rush, Jet Set Radio, God Eater, etc. It has since shifted more towards indie developers. The reason for this, and it makes sense, is because indie developers are PlayStation Vita's biggest supporters in the US. Now, for whatever reason, people have the stigma that an indie title equals garbage, when that's simply not true. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some titles that they give away that are complete monstrosities without a doubt. but there are some great indie titles that I would have never known about if it wasn't for the fact that they were being given away through PS Plus. So essentially, PlayStation Plus is a fantastic method for indie developers to promote their games, especially since said developers are some of the largest supporters of the PS Vita in the United States, and they don't have the marketing dollars that big AAA developers and publishers do. Number 2 is community. Now, here's something you probably weren't expecting, but we live in an era where communication with anyone around the world is a mere click away, and as a result, the PlayStation Vita has a devoted and connected community and following. I've mentioned this in previous videos, and in this one as well, but I am a member of quite a few PlayStation Vita related collectors and players groups on Facebook and other websites. These communities are full of people trading, selling, and helping one another and showing off their PlayStation Vita collections, and there are some impressive ones there. I've seen people within these groups travel to the Japan-Asia regions, take orders for other members in the community, buy the items from Japan, and ship them out to the members that requested them within the PS Vita collecting communities. I've gotta say that it is so cool to see so many people so devoted to a system that is considered a commercial failure everywhere outside of Japan. So, if you don't own a PS Vita, look down below for my pinned comment or in the description and I will direct you to all of these groups. And if you're curious about the PS Vita ecosystem, request to join them, and I'm sure plenty of people will be happy to answer your questions. And the number one reason to own a PlayStation Vita is games. This is essentially going to be the end-all be-all factor when it comes to the PlayStation Vita. The PS Vita's original position on the market was very different from where it is today. Since the PS Vita turned out to be a major commercial failure in pretty much every territory outside of the Japan-Asia regions, the only backers of the PS Vita at this point are Western indie developers and large Japanese third-party publishers and developers. Now, is this a bad thing? Well, that answer is going to depend and vary from person to person. You see, some of the PS Vita's largest third-party supporters at this point include Atlas USA Incorporated, Sega, Koei Tecmo, Xseed, Bandai Namco Entertainment, Square Enix, Axis Games, Idea Factory, Design Factory, and NIS America. Essentially, all of the PS Vita's AAA support are coming from third-party Japanese developers and publishers. So if you tend to like games from any of these aforementioned companies, then perhaps the PS Vita may be worth your time. If not, the PS Vita certainly has a large enough backlog of Western AAA games that I believe may warrant a purchase depending on the discriminating buyer. It's also worth mentioning that the PS Vita's library currently consists of over 1,400 titles developed solely for the platform, and that number does not include PS1 and PSP classics. And while Western AAA support is pretty much dead, there is still a hefty backlog of titles by Western developers, so I would personally recommend that you have a look into the library, as you would be surprised at what the PS Vita offers when you really look past the bandwagon of dogmatic and unjustified hate. In the end, the type of games you prefer will dictate what you purchase and actually enjoy your time spent on this handheld. So, if you still haven't made up your mind, I suggest creating a list of your favorite types of games, racing games, RPGs, shooters, etc., and cross-checking that list with the PlayStation Vita's library of over 1,400 titles across the globe to see if any of the titles and genres of games that you like are there to help you warrant purchasing this system or not. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't done so already, hit the like button, share this video around, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe. If you liked what you saw, consider donating to my Patreon account, which can be found in the description section of this video. Doing so will give me the option to push the production quality of each and every video I put out even further than it is right now. Thank you so much for your consideration, thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care.